Try to remember your third birthday. Not a photo of it, not a story someone told you about it, the actual memory. What the room smelled like, who was there, what you felt. For most people, nothing. Now try your first year of life. The year your brain was developing faster than it ever will again. Gone. And here's what makes this strange. You weren't unconscious. You weren't switched off. You were learning more per day during those years than at almost any other point in your life. So where did it all go? The old explanation was simple. Babies don't form memories. The brain isn't developed enough. Nothing gets recorded. That explanation is now considered incomplete. A 2025 Yale study found that infants can encode specific memories, and that the problem isn't formation. The recordings were made. The problem is retrieval. Think of it this way. It's not that the camera wasn't on. It's that the footage got locked, and the key changed as you grew up. The part of the brain most responsible for turning experiences into retrievable memories, the hippocampus, was active during those early years. A Yale and Columbia study found that hippocampal activity in infants actually predicted how well they remembered images shown to them shortly after. The system was working, but it wasn't finished yet. The child had memory, just not an adult filing system. And here's the part that should bother you a little. Researchers showed infants a set of images. The babies encoded them. You could measure it in their hippocampal activity. Then, those same children grew up and had no access to any of it. The memory was real. It existed. And then, without anyone deleting it, it became unreachable.
Here's another piece of the puzzle. Before language, life happens without labels. A baby can feel warmth, fear, safety, overwhelm, joy. But it can't say, I was there, that happened to me, this is what I felt. And language, it turns out, does something important for memory. Not creating it, but organizing it. Giving an experience a shape that can be retrieved later as a story. Studies have found a link between a child's language skills in preschool years and the clarity of their earliest personal memories. So those first years weren't silent. They were loud, full of sensation and learning and experience, but they happened without translation. You don't remember your first year of life the way you don't remember a dream you had in a language you don't speak. The experience existed. The record just isn't readable anymore. And this is the part that reframes everything. In your first years, your brain wasn't trying to make memories. It had a different job entirely. It was learning faces. Which ones meant safety? Which meant comfort? It was learning sounds, separating noise from language, language from meaning. It was learning movement, teaching your body to roll, sit, stand, walk. It was learning trust, building an internal map of who was reliable and who wasn't. You learned to walk during those years. Walking, one of the most mechanically complex things a human body does. Balancing on 2 points, calculating momentum, adjusting in real time. You learned it completely, and you have zero memory of a single attempt. Same with language. You didn't study it. You didn't take notes. You just absorbed it, from nothing into fluency, and the entire process is gone. The brain wasn't making a photo album. It was building the person who would carry the album. Every attachment, every fear, every reflex of comfort or anxiety. That's what those years left behind. Not footage, but architecture. There's a scientific hypothesis called the neurogenic hypothesis. During early childhood, the hippocampus undergoes significant growth, including the formation of entirely new neurons. And here's what makes that interesting. The same growth that was making you smarter, more capable, more human, may have been quietly reorganizing the networks that held your earliest experiences. Not because something went wrong, because something went right. Some children can recall events from age 2 or 3. Then, a few years later, as the brain keeps developing, those same memories become harder to reach. The forgetting isn't a malfunction. It might be a side effect of becoming. The brain that remembered your second year isn't quite the same brain that exists in your fourth. You didn't lose those years because your brain was weak. You lost them because it kept growing. But here's the thing. Not everything from those years disappeared. There's more than one kind of memory. There's the kind that stores events. Where were you? What happened? Who was there? And there's a quieter kind, emotional, physical, instinctive, that doesn't come back as images. It comes back as sensation. A smell that calms you down for no reason you can name. A voice tone that makes you tense before you've processed what was said. A place that gives you a feeling you can't explain. Comfort or unease or something in between. That's not random. That's memory, just not the kind you can narrate. You might not remember the first time you felt safe, but your nervous system didn't forget what safety felt like. You don't remember your first home, but your brain remembers what home is supposed to feel like. You don't remember the first time someone held you, but your nervous system learned what safety feels like from that. You don't remember the first word you heard, but your brain built language from it. Those years didn't leave you a film. They left you an operating system. Every instinct, every comfort, every inexplicable fear or pull towards something familiar. That's not random. That's the record, just not the kind you can play back. The years you can't remember may be the years that shaped you most. You just don't have the footage to prove it.